Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Hello from my treatment room here in Pennsylvania. My name is Jenny King. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, formerly known as a body worker. I've been playing with people for the last 20 years, and I am here to share with you a little video using the essential oil Cypress in the aroma point therapy style, which was founded by Peter Holmes with his fragrance energetics, and Tiffany Carroll, who married it with the acupuncture points. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play with Chinese medicine, acupoints, and an essential oil, and we're gonna bring them together in a way that honors the fall time and the fall spirit. So what we're gonna do, today is the autumn equinox, and it's the time where we return to the yin, really truly to return to the yin. The summer or the fall, the spring equinox is when the balance shifts from the yin, that dark womb-like space, the nourishing internal part of the year, and at the spring equinox we balance into more of the yang, the fire, the upward and outward motion of the year. And then today on the equinox, that upward outward movement has now tipped back into the balance, and we're going down into the earth. We're returning to the earthbound part of the year. So the heavenly part of the year is from the spring equinox, really expanding on the fire, and as the fire dives inward back into the earth, we are tipping today into bringing our fire inward. So as we do that, we have in the spring we have grown and manifested into this abundant place, and as we go into the fall, we are starting to dive in and we're starting to demanifest or break down what we have already brought into the world. We're breaking it down so that it can come back into us as something that we can use in the time where we go inward and to see the future. But in this process, there is a death that happens as we let things go. So some things are let go, some things are brought in to nourish us. And so we're going to use the lung we're going to use the lung as our metaphor for releasing and diving in. The lung and the large intestine, which are organs in the fall in Chinese medicine. They're part of the metal element, which is the fall. The fall is the metal element, and the organs of fall and metal are the lung and large intestine. And the lung and large intestine are much bigger than the actual organs, the lung and the large intestine. But we're going to use them metaphorically as the release. And our Cypress essential oil, so if you have Cypress, this one is from Snow Lotus, pull it out. And I like to dilute this down to 50%. So 50% Cypress and 50% carrier oil. The aroma point style, you can also use it neat. The aroma point therapy style is really just using a single oil on a single point, only a point. We're not rubbing it or applying it, so we're not getting this massive amount of undiluted oil in our body. We're just using it on a single acupuncture point. And that is safe, especially with the Cypress. There are some oils you may not want to do that with, but Cypress is perfectly safe to do that as applied in this method. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one drop of this Cypress essential oil, and you're going to place it on your index finger. And then you're going to divide it between your two fingers, your two index fingers. And then the space we're going to drop into is called lung 1. So if you can find that little notch, like if you follow your clavicle all the way out, it bumps up right against your deltoid muscle. And then take about an inch or one of your thumbs down to a little spot, a hole over your rib cage, and it's still inside that deltoid muscle. So I'm going to cross my hands. I think that's a little bit easier way to do that. And so I am consciously bringing my awareness into this space. So close your eyes, going inward, which again is that metal fall energy, this balance, this tipping point that we're at on the equinox as we start to go inward. So bring yourself inward into your awareness of yourself as a body, as a being, as a spirit, all integrated. Light touch, so we're not pressing into that point. Just Just allowing the oil to seep down into this lung 1. Lung 1 acupoint. Simply noticing. Cypress has an astringent quality on a physiological level. It has an astringent quality also on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level. It has a woodiness that draws us into our center. So if you can, as you're noticing, do you find that you become more at ease in your core? And as you become more at ease in your core and are more centered, then you're able to drop down more easily into your body. More easily into the ground. Imagining your roots going into the ground, sinking in, pulling in the minerals that are there. The minerals are the metal of the earth. Our main quality of this dynamic, this fragrance dynamic, is the pungent, that fresh, uplifting aspect of cypress that opens your orifices on your head, allowing you to take a deeper breath. I would argue that it takes you higher, tapping you into your divinity as you become more centered and uplifted. Finding your place suspended between heaven and earth. As a being of the cosmos and the planet dancing in this lifetime, connected by the thread of your breath from your first breath to your last. Bringing your attention to your lungs, to the quality of your breath. I invite you to examine your relationship with grief. And just noticing, even as I say that word, what does that do to the energy in your body? Grief is heavy upon us now in our society, but it is also a fall and a metal emotion. So I invite you into the virtues of grief, of the descent, of the release, of that which is no longer serving you. If you want to imagine your pores, your skin and your pores. Skin is the organ of the lungs. It is the part of us that also respires, letting things out. Opening your pores and allowing any grief that is in your body to simply evaporate out of your cells, out of your being. If there's something you want to name that you are grieving, do so in your head. If it's the collective grief, know that you cannot process that for others. So let it go. It's not acknowledge it, but let it go. Bring your attention back to your breath. Unprocessed grief sits heavy in our lung space, not allowing us to breathe, disconnecting us from our inspiration and our vitality. Come back to your inhale and your exhale. And the last thing we're going to do is we're simply going to breathe together in a way that calms our central nervous system. So inhaling for 4, exhaling twice as long for 8 seconds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then just take a few moments. Drop back into the fragrance of Cypress. And when you're ready, release your hands. welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I hope you made it all the way through. And whenever you would like to drop into that space of the yin space, of the coming in and centering, of releasing that which is not serving you, letting things drop away, really just creating that space for the new. I feel like Cypress is such a wonderful oil for creating a void within us. And that void creates the space. It gets the noise out of the way so that we can align between heaven and earth and really remember who we are underneath all the busyness and the noise, but also what is most valuable to us. Because that is what the death does. The death of the fall, the death of the return allows us to process everything that has come before and to either let it go or take it in for the next cycle. So thank you again for joining me. And if you're wondering why I included my scarf today, thanks for asking, because it is in Chinese medicine, it is considered the wind is considered an agent of illness, the precursor to 1,000 diseases. It opens up our pores and allows things to come in. And the wind often enters through the neck. I mean, think about all the times when we get sick and it comes in from, the sore throat or our breath. It comes in through the breathing system. And so to keep the neck warm is a very important thing, to keep the wind out. So you will never see a Chinese medicine practitioner out and about without their scarf on in the fall or the winter, because it's it's ingrained in us to wear a scarf. So I thought I'd wear that in honor today of the fall, and to remind you or let you know the importance of wearing your scarf and keeping this area protected. And, there's lots of ways to play with the scarf to make yourself look fabulous as well, because who doesn't want that? Again, we are suspended between heaven and earth, and play is a big part of that. So the lighter we become, the more we release, the more vital we become, and the more that we can show up in all of our vitality and beauty. So much love from my heart to yours. Mwah.